So, just a bit of background for the next film. I was cycling in Camden, and on a main road there were about 15 police officers and 10 people in high-vis jackets. And the police officers were stopping cars, and this was all coordinated, so the police officers can just stop cars for no reason, and they were doing that. In other words, they had no probable cause, they were just randomly stopping cars. And they claimed they were looking for insurance, people who didn't have insurance, which, you know, I could make a film of in itself. And then they had 3 different types of extortion officers hanging around. One was looking for fines, the unpaid fines. A second team was looking for anybody collecting who had trash in their vehicles without a license, whatever that means. And the third guy was hanging around fining people £60 for dropping cigarette butts. So it was a coordinated effort of extortion with our taxpayers' money being used to stop people at random, intimidate them and harass them, just on the off chance that maybe some of them didn't have insurance. It was the most horrible sight, and of course everyone just walking past and allowing them to do this without even questioning it. And here's some of the footage we caught.
You don't need to answer any questions. My advice to you is to ask him whether you're obliged to give you the details.
You are obliged, sir. If you fail
under what law?
If you refuse to give me the details, you commit a separate offence under PACE.
Under what law? What's the wording of the law?
What's the wording of the law?
You're required by law to provide me with details of your
What's the wording of the law?
What's the wording of the law?
What's the wording of the
Provide me
law?
the details.
You are a civilian. Are you a civilian? Are you a civilian? I can do the talking.
Are you a civilian?
I'm a civilian.
Right.
Okay.
Do you have no powers to detain? What do you have a power to detain? Do you have a power to detain this man?
Do
you have the power to detain?
It's a separate offence.
Is he free to go right now? Is he free to go?
He's not free to go. So
Okay, under what law is he not free to go? Tell me.
He can be arrested under PACE if he
Do
refuses
you
to give
have
me
the
his
power
details.
to detain him?
I do not. This officer does.
Fine. Well, we're not talking about this officer. We're talking about you right now. Do you have the power to detain him?
If necessary, yes.
Really?
civilian
Under
law.
what? Under what law?
As a
Under
civilian,
what
I'm
law?
entitled
What do you
to-
mean as a civilian? Do you have the power to detain him?
Yes.
Really? Under what
I do.
law? This is
Civil
going
law.
on YouTube. I'd watch what
Good.
you say if I were
Civil
you.
law, sir.
Under what? What do you mean civil law? Tell me what the law is that
As a
has the right
citizen,
to
I'm
detain him.
entitled to. What he's
What
committed is
law
a
do you have
criminal
the right to
offence.
detain him?
He has-
What is the word
he
of
has
the law? You
committed a
cannot
criminal
just say civil law. Okay? Thank you. Can you tell me what right you have to detain him? Therefore, he is free to go. Is he free to go? Is he free to go? Answer the question. Do you have the power to detain anybody? This is serious.
I personally don't have the power
Good,
to
right.
detain
Then you're
anybody for
free
my
to
job.
go. Then he's
Okay.
free to go. And I would
Okay.
go as quickly as I can if I were you. He has no right.
It's a
He
literal
has no
offence.
right.
Hang on.
Excuse
Wait,
me.
wait,
Hold on a
wait.
second. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Okay,
Excuse.
right. The offence which he's seen you commit is an littering offence, and what he wants to be able to do is issue you with a ticket in order to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Is he obliged to answer any of the guy's questions?
The gentleman has... Okay, the offence which he commits is under the Environmental Protection Act.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Spy law
Right.
for this borough.
It's an act of parliament.
Act of Parliament.
What?
Okay.
Right. What is the wording, please? What is the wording? Can we see what the wording is, please?
It's
Can you see the wording of it? What's the,
Section
Can I see the
87.
wording of the law?
Section 87, subsection 1 of the Environmental Protection Act. Is
What's the
littering
words?
offence to drop
What's
down
the
or
words?
otherwise deposit. I'm giving you the words.
Okay.
Leave,
Yes.
litter,
Yes.
to drop down or otherwise deposit,
Yeah.
and to walk away.
Right.
Thank you.
So what's litter exactly?
Litter can be defined in a very broad sense. It can be cigarette butts, crisp
Yeah.
packets,
Right.
sputum.
Right. Oh, sputum as well.
I'm afraid.
Really? Oh,
so.
so you're getting people who spit? You're
Me
going to
personally,
charge?
I'm not. No.
No.
So
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't
if
you?
I had some debris on the edge of my shoe and I walked away and then it fell off my shoe, would that be classed as litter?
No.
So that's coming off of my person and being deposited on the floor. How is that not litter?
That's not litter as far as the terminology of law is concerned. No.
As far as terminology of law, who decides what the law is? Who decides what the meaning of the words are?
Government. Sir.
The government.
It's an act of
What-
parliament.
Yeah, well, what do the words actually mean? You haven't even thought about what the words mean, have you? What do the words mean walking away? How far do you have to walk? He was here with
One
me.
pace.
He
It's
was
enough to walk
really
away, sir.
one
Yeah,
pace.
by law.
Where
Does it
is
say
that
one
written?
pace?
Where does
No,
it
it
say
doesn't.
that?
It says to walk away.
Where does it
So
say
I haven't
one
walked
pace?
away.
He hasn't walked
did
away. He
walk
was here.
past
Okay. Easiest way to do this, give him your details.
Okay, hold on
and
a second.
challenge it
Hold on
in
a second.
court.
What happens
Okay.
if he refuses to give details? What happens next? Can you please tell me?
Officer of the law. To
Yes.
get those details for.
Okay. What happens if he refuses to give details for something for being accused of dropping a cigarette end? What happens? Tell me. What are you going to do about
It's
it?
a summary offence.
Okay. So what are you going to do about it? What will you do? I want to know.
In which case, in order to issue the ticket,
You would
he
arrest
could
him?
Be arrested.
You're
in
telling me
order-
that you would arrest him for not
in
giving back
order
his details?
if he's- so
Are
we can
you
verify
not
his
embarrassed to
address.
say that on camera?
No,
No.
that's my job.
Oh my! Oh, it's your job, right? And would you do that if you weren't in uniform? If you weren't in uniform, would you do that? Would you capture a man for not giving his details because he's being accosted by some guy who's making loads of money off guys who do something
that's-
innocent? Yeah. Would
That's
you do
irrelevant
that?
whether I'm in
It's
uniform or
not.
not.
It's
At
very
this moment in
relevant.
time,
It's
I
very
am
relevant
here in
because
uniform.
you shouldn't do anything in uniform that you wouldn't do out of uniform. This is
No,
outrageous.
there are various
This is
powers
outrageous.
which exist.
Yes.
Where you have to be in uniform in order to exercise them.
I understand
such
that.
as what we're
I
doing
know.
here.
I know what you're doing here.
Okay. So the in uniform and out of
Yeah.
uniform is very much legislation based.
No, it's not legislation
Well, it
based.
is.
It's morality based.
No, it's not.
It's
It's
oh, is it
legislation
nothing to
based.
do with morality?
Do you not have the power if you're not in uniform to stop?
No, I know
vehicles?
that, but we're
Okay.
talking about a moral thing. We're talking about you're threatening him.
And the specifics of that law are not exact enough to say that I've walked away. I haven't walked
But that-
away. I'm still here. I'm
that's-
holding the cigarette butt in my hand. I haven't.
That
committed
is
an
his
offence.
evidence for which you can go to court and you can challenge it.
He's got
That
the
is
thing in
that is
his
the whole-
hand.
That's the whole
He's got it in his
I
hand.
wasn't here to
Okay,
witness
but
what went
what
on.
you're doing is what you're prepared to do is threatening someone with kidnap, right? For not giving his details after he's been accosted by this guy working for some profit-making organisation. He's making his living out of catching people dropping cigarette ends, which may have been an accident or may not. He has no knowledge of the law, and you're saying that you would be prepared to kidnap this man if he doesn't give his details.
He has explained.
You're threatening that.
He has explained the
Yeah.
legislation.
He hasn't explained the legislation.
He has explained
He hasn't.
the
The
offence.
legislation is in English language, in funny, frilly words that we don't know what those words mean. Right? He has not explained it at all. Do you understand the legislation?
No, not at all.
No. Of course he doesn't. He's not explained the legislation. He hasn't been trained to do. All he's been trained to do is go up to people and say, right, give me £60, give me your details. That's what he's been trained to do.
That's not what he said.
Yeah.
He has explained.
He is not an expert. He has not explained to the meaning of the words. He's managed to quote the words of that particular bylaw, right? But besides the fact that that bylaw comes with a whole load... Have you read all the whole bylaw itself and all the things surrounding the bylaw? Have you read those? The details, the definitions, have you read those? Because you are enforcing the law based on your understanding, which may be extremely limited. How well do you understand the law? Because you're trying to apply the law as a civilian. How well do you understand the law? You understand the law? Have you read the law within its context? Have you read all of the law within its context?
In relation to this offence, yes.
Yes? And what does it say? Give me some examples of what it says. No, I'm talking about what is the context of it.
Dropped litter on the pavement
Right.
and walked away from it.
Right. And you're
That's the offence.
right, and you're making a legal determination about that. You,
I am, sir.
yeah,
Yes,
right.
in relation
And
to
you've
the
got,
law.
and you think that you have got the power to make a legal determination.
Yes.
Really,
I'm authorised.
you're authorised to make a legal determination. Really, as a civilian.
I am, sir.
Really. Well, I think that some judges might be quite concerned
Then
when they
this
see
gentleman
this.
has the right to
Yeah.
challenge that in a court
No,
of law.
no, don't give me right to challenge that in the court of law. Look, do you know what trouble it is to go to court of law? Have you ever been on the wrong side of the law, sir? No? Really? You haven't? Well, I have, yeah? And I'll tell you something, it's a whole big thing for him to go to the other side of the law. It means he has to go to court, plead not guilty, come back. The police to go on your side, and they're going to arrest the guy for not giving his details. He's got the right to remain silent. What happened to the right to remain silent?
You have the option, sir, to pay the ticket.
And you have the
which
option.
discharges your liability to go into court.
Discharges your liability.
However, if you determine not to pay the ticket, you have your right to go to court and
By the
explain
way,
to the magistrate.
don't worry about that, because you don't have to take any of his paperwork. Yeah, that's for sure. Don't take any of his paper. You're not interested in his paperwork, right? But before that, yeah, you have to decide whether you want to see if they're actually going to arrest you, because that would be interesting. If I caught that on camera, you being arrested for not giving your details for a dispute about someone dropping litter, yeah, that would make really good footage, and it would be an active.
Are you willing to arrest me for dropping litter?
Not for dropping litter, for not giving your name.
No. It's not about the not giving name. It's about not being able to issue the ticket appropriately.
Okay, fine. Are you prepared? Are you going to arrest this man?
We could choose to, yeah.
No, you could. Are you going to do it? Because he needs to
I
decide
need
what to
talk
do.
to my colleague.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
why don't you do that then? This is getting interesting, isn't
yeah,
it?
It's very
So
interesting,
what are you
yeah.
thinking right now? Let's just have...
Well, it's a lovely use of police powers.
Yeah.
So it's nice to victimise somebody just for walking down the road.
And of course, by the way, it's interesting that they happen to turn up when the police are around.
Yeah,
Because this is
very,
something
very
completely
convenient.
different. Yeah.
A backup group of lackeys. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
So who are they talking to them about?
Oh,
now?
that's someone else from Camden Council. They're part of this team. Clean Camden. Clean Camden.
A cigarette shopping witness.
I mean, do you feel, I mean, I hope you feel
leaving that on
you're a
the floor,
very
60
horrible,
pounds.
bad person.
Oh
You
yeah,
really are.
yeah.
I mean, never mind the oil spills in the Gulf.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Forget those.
Right.
But I mean, look at it. I mean, just look at that. How could you... Could we just see the offending?
Oh, I know.
I know.
It's almost murder.
How do you... It is.
That's almost murder. Yeah.
It is. I think you should just, like, surrender. Do you think you should surrender?
I should.
Yeah,
Maybe
turn
I should
yourself in.
Ask them to arrest me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant idea. Go on, arrest me. I've realised I've done something really terrible. Please take me away. Here's my hands.
Can you hit me as well, please? Yeah.